I never thought I'd end up in Victor Hale's body, his 6'2" frame slouched in that ergonomic chair, staring at his own reflection in the darkened office window like some funhouse mirror nightmare. 3 weeks ago, he looked me in the eye and said, "You're not leadership material, Arya," while signing off on my termination papers, his Mont-Blanc pen scratching like claws on my grave. But revenge isn't a boardroom memo. It's a scalpel in the dark, and I just carved out his empire from the inside. The swap happened faster than a Wall Street crash. Some black market neural implant from a rogue biotech lab in Silicon Valley, the kind of tech big pharma buries deeper than their opioid scandals. One needle prick in a Jersey motel, a surge of electricity that tasted like copper pennies and regret, and suddenly I was him. Broad shoulders, salt and pepper hair, the weight of his Rolex like a shackle on my wrist. He woke up screaming in my 5'4" shell, trapped in a cramped Brooklyn walk-up, while I strode into Hale Dynamics headquarters like I owned it, which, by dawn, I damn well would. It started with the betrayal that gutted me worse than any knife. Victor Hale wasn't just my boss. He was the golden boy of New York's tech scene, the guy who'd clawed his way from a Queens trailer park to penthouse suites in one pen one, preaching disrupt or die, at TED Talks while sipping $500 scotch. I was his shadow, his executive assistant turned shadow project lead on Project Nexus, the AI that could have revolutionized predictive analytics for Fortune 500s. For 2 years, I poured my soul into it. Late nights debugging code in my shoebox apartment, weekends lost to whiteboards smeared with equations, all while he paraded my prototypes as his own at investor pitches. But the real rot festered underneath. Victor had a secret, one I'd buried for him out of some misplaced loyalty that now tasted like ash. 3 months before the firing, during a merger with a rival firm, he'd cooked the books, falsified revenue projections to the tune of $12 million, siphoning funds into offshore accounts tied to his mistress in the Hamptons. When the auditors came sniffing, it was me who took the fall. I accidentally approved the doctored spreadsheets, or so the paper trail said. He framed it as my incompetence, a rookie mistake from the girl who'd never gone to Wharton. I covered for him because he'd promised equity, a corner office, a shot at the C-suite. Family, he called us, his hand on my shoulder like a vice. The day he canned me, rain hammered Midtown like God's own judgment. I stood in his corner office on the 47th floor, the Hudson River a gray smear beyond the glass, clutching my severance folder like a shield. "Arya, sweetheart," he said, leaning back in his leather throne, tie loosened just enough to show the glint of his Harvard cufflinks. "You've got fire, but fire burns out. Leadership? That's ice, cold, calculated. You're not there yet." His smile was a shark's, all teeth and no remorse. HR escorted me out past cubicles, buzzing with whispers, my access badge yanked like a tooth. By evening, I was drowning in cheap Merlot at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, scrolling LinkedIn rejects while the city throbbed with indifferent life. That's when the idea slithered in, not revenge, not yet, but survival. A contact from my underground network, an ex-colleague who jumped ship to a dark web hacker collective, whispered about Neuralink. It was experimental neural mapping tech, originally for stroke victims, but twisted by black hat coders into full identity transference. "Body swap on demand," she texted, attaching a grainy spec sheet. "Wipe your slate, step into theirs. But it's one way, fry the circuits, and you're stuck. Cost: $50,000, half my savings, and a favor I'd owe forever. Risk: brain melt, psychosis, or worse." I wired the money at 2 a.m., heart pounding like a subwoofer in a trap house. The motel was a roach trap off the turnpike, neon vacancy flickering like a bad omen. The tech, Dr. Elias Crow, a disgraced MIT prof with eyes like chipped flint, didn't waste words. "Synaptic overlay," he muttered, prepping the injectors. "Your engrams flood his flood yours. Wake up inverted." Victor was the mark. I'd spiked his aftershave with a sedative during a farewell coffee run I'd conned my way into. He woke groggy on the slab, my old body strapped down, while I lay adjacent, the machine humming like a swarm of locusts. The surge hit like lightning in my veins, memories colliding, his first, The sting of his father's belt in that Queen's basement, the thrill of his first insider trade. Mine overlaid, my abuela's rosary beads clicking during chemo vigils, the burn of ramen noodles for dinner through grad school. Then blackness, and I gasped awake in his skin, the room spinning. Victor, me? Thrashed in my frame, voice a strangled squeak. What the fuck? Arya? You bitch. Crow silenced him with a chokehold and a zip tie. She's you now, the doc growled. Adapt or atrophy. I drove his Tesla back to the city at dawn, the skyline a jagged crown I was about to steal. His phone buzzed with bored alerts. Q3 earnings call in 2 hours. My first act as Victor Hale? Delay it. Personal emergency. I typed, voice modulator app smoothing my inflections to his gravelly baritone. By noon, I was in his penthouse on Billionaire's Row, rifling safes for leverage. The safe yielded gold, encrypted drives with the embezzlement trail, emails to his mistress detailing the frame job on me, even a hidden cam feed from the office bathroom. God, the depravity. He'd recorded colleagues, blackmailed for promotions. Power wasn't earned, it was extorted. But power's a double-edged blade, and mine was already nicking my sanity. His memories leaked in, the affair with interns, the coke-fueled rages at underlings. I caught myself admiring the view from his balcony, a god complex creeping in. No. Arya's fire, not his ice. I needed a plan, surgical and swift. Step 1. Infiltrate. I scheduled a one-on-one with the board chair, a silver fox named Harlan Voss, spinning tales of strategic pivots laced with my own Nexus tweaks, upgrades I'd coded in secret. Voss bit. By week's end, whispers of Victor's renaissance echoed in the halls. Victor, trapped in my body, fought back from the shadows. Texts from burner phones. You think you can play me? I'll bury you. He tried hacking the company firewall from a public library, but I'd changed the creds. Cops? He'd look like a hysteric in my frame, a jilted ex-assistant spinning conspiracies. The controversy simmered. Was I him, or was he unraveling? Tabloids picked it up. Hale Dynamics heir apparent goes rogue? Fueled by leaks I planted. Allies fractured. His mistress ghosted, sensing the shift. The tension coiled like a spring in my chest. Every mirror a reminder of the theft. Every handshake a lie. I pushed harder, controversial calls stacking like Jenga blocks. I greenlit a whistleblower payout to a laid-off dev team, $2 million from petty cash, framing it as equity redistribution. The board balked. Socialist bullshit. One VP snarled. But Voss backed me, eyeing his own stock bump. Then the hammer. I exposed a minor scandal on a rival CEO, anonymous tip to the Journal, tanking their shares and scooping talent. Ruthless? Hell yes. American as apple pie and antitrust suits. 2 weeks in, the crack showed. Migraines from synaptic bleed, voices his, whispering doubts in my skull. You're not him, Arya. You'll slip. But slip I wouldn't. The climax brewed at the annual gala, black tie affair at the Met, crystal chandeliers dripping like stalactites over Manhattan's elite. I arrived as Victor, Armani tux hugging this borrowed frame, Arya's locket my talisman, tucked under starched collar. He crashed it, of course, in my body, dolled up in a thrift store gown, makeup smeared like war paint, screaming accusations to the valets. Security dragged him off, but not before a viral clip hit X. Imposter alert. That's not Hale. The boardroom showdown followed at midnight, rain lashing windows like accusations. Voss and the suits circled the table, Voss's eyes boring into me. Victor, what's this madness?
You're
Double? I leaned forward, channeling his ice. Delusional ex-employee, Arya Voss, no relation, cracking under pressure. I've got psych evals NDAs. She's a liability we cut loose. Lies layered like lacquer, but they stuck. Votes tallied. I was anointed interim CEO, Nexus rollout fast-tracked under my vision. Victor pounded on the glass doors from the lobby, my old face twisted in rage, security cuffing him like a street prophet. I watched from above, heart a war drum. Victory tasted metallic, like blood on the tongue. But twists don't end at the peak. They burrow deeper. As dawn broke, pink fingers clawing the skyline, an encrypted file pinged his phone. From Crow, contingency upload complete. Hale's engrams stabilizing in host body. Reversal window, 48 hours. What? The doc had lied one way my ass. Victor wasn't fading. He was rebooting, my neural map eroding like sandcastles at high tide. Panic surged, hot and unfamiliar in this mail shell. I'd built an empire on borrowed time, but the crown was slipping. Controversial decision loomed. Torch it all or cling. I raced to the penthouse, barricading doors, but he was already clawing back. Flashes of my memories dimming, his resurfacing. The merger lies, but wait. A buried truth. The embezzlement? Not his solo act. Voss had masterminded it, using Victor as patsy, just as Victor used me. The old Fox's emails, time-stamped from a Cayman server. Clean the books, Vic Arias the fall guy, loyal little bird. Betrayal inverted, a Mobius strip of deceit. I'd avenged the wrong devil. As Victor's essence flooded back, my resolve hardened. Not to reverse, but to weaponize the bleed. I leaked the Voss files to the SEC from a VPN in his name, watching stocks crater on the Bloomberg feed. Sirens wailed below. Feds closing in on the boardroom wolves. The end came in a psych ward on Riker's Edge. Victor fully restored in his body. Me shrunken back to mine. IVs dripping sedatives like mercy. He loomed over the bed, eyes hollow. You almost had it, Arya. But leadership? It's surviving the swap. I smiled through the haze, whispering the Voss Drops password. His empire crumbled that hour, his job mine in ruins, but his silence? Priceless. Was it justice or just another con? The courts called it fraud, Shrink's delusion. Me? Catharsis, black as the Hudson at night. In America's grind, we all swap skins eventually. Question is, who bleeds more coming out? The bleed didn't stop at the ward. It lingered like a hangover from hell, synapses firing half-truths that blurred the line between Arya and the ghost of Victor I'd worn like a ill-fitting suit. Discharged after a 72-hour hold, courtesy of a tame shrink who'd owed me a favor from the Nexus days, I stumbled into the autumn chill of Red Hook, Brooklyn, my old life a husk waiting to be torched. The city had moved on. Headlines screamed, Hale Dynamics implosion. CEO Victor Hale charged in multi-million fraud. His mugshot splashed across the post like a wanted poster from a spaghetti western. Voss fled to some non-extradition island, but the rats were fleeing the ship, execs jumping to startups, stock plummeting to penny levels. Me? I was persona non grata, a footnote in the scandal sheets. Mystery woman in body double rant. No charges, too fringe, too tabloid, but blacklisted from every tech firm east of the Mississippi. Resumes vanished into HR voids. Recruiters ghosted mid-Zoom. The swap had bought me a week of godhood, but the crash left scars. Phantom itches where his Rolex had chafed, echoes of his baritone in my throat during morning coffee. Revenge? It had gutted him, sure, but hollowed me too. Or had it? In the quiet of my walk-up, peeling paint flaking like old skin, I unearthed the real hook, the one that'd reel me back in. It started with a manila envelope slid under my door. No stamp, no return. For the girl who stole my shadow. Inside, a USB drive and a single photo me, as Victor, mid-gala toast, eyes alight with that predatory gleam. Attached note, scrawled in his hand. You think it's over?
Check the drive.
Then meet me. The Exchange, 10 p.m. The Exchange, neutral ground for Wall Street wolves, a speakeasy basement under a Flatiron Chop house where deals died and were reborn in blood oaths. I shouldn't have gone. Sanity screamed bail. Block the number. Vanished to some nowhere town like the ones in those Springsteen ballads. But curiosity's a junkie itch, and I'd mainlined too much chaos to quit cold. The drive? A trove of dirt, not on Voss, but me. Clips from the swap night. Crow's motel cam. My consent form signed in triplicate, timestamps proving premeditation. Blackmail gold. Worse, Buried metadata. Victor hadn't been sedated fully. He'd half known, half consented in a coke-fueled haze, trading bodies for a reset on his crumbling psyche. The betrayal deepened. He'd played me as the pawn, using my rage to expose Voss while he skated clean. 10 p.m. found me in a booth at the exchange, jazz saxophone wailing like a soul in purgatory, dim Edison bulbs casting shadows that danced like informants. Victor slid in opposite, thinner, haunted, whiskey neat sweating on the scarred oak. No Rolex, just a Timex, ticking like a bomb. "Aria," he rasped, voice cracked from disuse. "You wore me well. Too well." "Save the poetry," I snapped, sliding the drive back. "What do you want? My head on a pike for your plea deal?" The bar hummed with suits murmuring mergers, oblivious to the noir unfolding in their midst. He leaned in, breath sour with regret. "Partnership. The real nexus, your code, my contacts. Voss is gone, but the board's fractured. We rebuild, split 60 to 40 my way. Or I upload this to the cloud, and you're the fall girl again. Assault, identity theft, federal time." Controversy coiled in my gut like bad dim sum. Team up with a snake who'd shed my skin? It reeked of Stockholm, of every toxic ex who promises change over last call. But the drive's leverage was a noose. Without it, I was drifting back to barista gigs and ramen rituals. And beneath the bile, a spark. Nexus unfinished, my baby half-born. "Why me?" I pressed. "You said I wasn't material." His laugh was a bark, hollow as a stock bubble. "Because you are, damn it." I saw it in the mirror, my moves sharper. Your fire thawed my ice. But alone? We'd both freeze. Lies? Maybe. Or the swaps bleed, mingling our marrow. I countered. 50 to 50, no strings, and he destroys the evidence live. Handshake sealed it, his palm clammy as a grave digger's. The rebuild was a fever dream, tense as a tightrope over the East River. We operated from a ghost office in Soho, sublet under a shell corp, blinds drawn against prying drones. Days blurred, me coding firewalls to mask our phoenix rise, him schmoozing ghosts of the old guard with charm offensive texts. Tension crackled, arguments over equity splits escalating to throne laptops, his old entitlement flaring when I'd override a pitch with real analytics. "This is my sandbox," he'd growl, but I'd fire back. "Ours now, Vic, play nice or I walk with the keys." Darkness seeped in nocturnal. Nightmares of the swap replayed, his memories invading mine. The thrill of that first embezzled wire transfer, the guilt I'd absorbed like osmosis. I'd wake sweating, questioning. Was the revenge mine or his script? And the secret, the one I'd buried for him, unraveled further. Turns out, the frame job on me wasn't isolated. He'd done it before, to a string of Arias, rising stars sacrificed for his climb. One, a coder named Lena from the Chicago outpost, had OD'd 6 months post-firing, pills washed down with cheap Chianti. Her obit haunted my feeds, a ghost in the machine. Controversial calls mounted like storm clouds. To fund the relaunch, we dipped into gray pools, crypto laundries tied to Eastern European syndicates, untraceable but ethically bankrupt. Survival of the slickest. Victor justified over takeout foe in the dim glow of dual monitors. I nodded, but it gnawed. Was this evolution or devolution? Then the pivot. We targeted a predatory VC firm, the kind that had funded Voss's escapes, using Nexus to predict their crashes. Short sells netted us $800,000, but the blowback was swift. Anonymous threats spray-painted on our door. "Snitches get stitches, hail." The strain peaked mid-relaunch, 3 weeks into our unholy alliance. Victor cracked first, booze benders turning maudlin, confessions spilling like oil slicks. The swap. I needed it, Arya. The ice was cracking. You and me? It was mercy. Bullshit or breakthrough. I pushed, probing the bleed. And Lena? The others? His face crumpled, a dam breaking. Collateral. Like you were gonna be. But you fought back. Made me human. Humanity's a luxury in America's meritocracy myth, where the game's rigged from the jump. But that night, as thunder rolled over the bridges, we forged ahead. Uploading Nexus 2.0 to a beta consortium, invites to hand-picked allies. Uptake exploded. Whispers in VC chats, pings from Palo Alto princes. By dawn, seed funding wired, $15 million, valuation soaring. Yet the UM lingered, a shadow puppet play. Victor's eyes tracked me different now, gratitude laced with hunger.
Mine?
Wary, wired for the next knife. The climax loomed not in boardrooms, but bedrooms, metaphors made manifest when he cornered me post-celebratory shots, lips brushing my ear. We're the same now. Finish what the swap started. I shoved him off, glass shattering like illusions. Never yours, Vic. Not then, not now. He retreated, stung. But the seed was planted, doubt in our pack's soil. As beta tests trended viral, a new leak surfaced. Not from us, but Crow. The doc, double-dipping, shopping swap specs to pharma giants, outing our origins. Feds circled, warrants whispering. Victor's fix? Run, new identities, Nexus as our arc to Dubai's free zones.
Mine?
Fight. Expose the rot from within, turn the tech to truth serum for corporate sins. The fracture hit at our first pitch, a sleek loft in Chelsea, venture vultures circling. I demoed, voice steady, but mid-slide, Victor ad-libbed. Area's the brains, my secret weapon. Gasps rippled. He'd outed me, flipping the script to solo savior. Betrayal 2.0, deeper, because it had mimicked redemption. I froze, projector humming judgment, then pivoted. Victor's right. But the weapon? It's aimed at frauds like the old board. Chaos erupted, walkouts, whispers. But two whales stayed, hooked on the drama. Post-pitch, alley rain slick as deceit, we collided. Why? I demanded, collar soaked. To protect us? Or just you? His grin, that shark's flash. Both. Your fire, Arya, burn too bright, consume everything. Including me. Truth twisted again. The drive wasn't destroyed. Backups in his cloud, leverage eternal. But I had my ace, Lena's ghost, her suicide note digitized in my drive, fingering Victor as the architect. Controversial? Armageddon. I hit send anonymously as cabs honked, sirens in the distance. By morning, his bail hearing tanked, new charges, reckless endangerment.
Hale Dynamics?
Mine now legitimately bought in the fire sale, Nexus my crown. He rotted in a cell upstate, letters pleading alliance, turning to curses.
Me?
CEO Aria Reyes, bylines in Wired, but the mirror shows fractures, his ice in my veins. Revenge cycles, or so the philosophers say. In America's dark heart, we all pay the piper, one swapped soul at a time. The corner office felt like a cage gilded in glass and ambition, Hudson winds howling mockery through the seals as I signed my first decree as sole proprietor of Hale Dynamics, now Reyes Innovations, rebranded in a midnight whim that the lawyers blessed for a cool mill. Victor's ghost lingered in the fixtures, his monogrammed decanter half full of Macallan, the desk drawer stuffed with Polaroids of conquests that now curdled my stomach. 3 months post-fracture, the empire stabilized, Nexus 3.0 beta locked for ethics audits, stock creeping up on whispers of female disruptor profiles in Forbes. But success is a siren song, lulling you into complacency just before the rocks. The bleed had evolved, not ebbed, a low hum in my skull. Victor's echoes debating my calls like backseat drivers from hell. Cut the R&D fluff. He'd urge during budget huddles, his timbre overlaying my thoughts. I'd silence it with meditation apps or double espressos, but it chipped away, eroding the line between Avenger and Avatar. Allies noticed. My new COO, a sharp Latina from Google's antitrust wars named Sophia, eyed me sideways after a merger veto. You're channeling the old man, Arya. I see.
Was I?
Or was the swap scar tissue hardening into armor? Deeper darkness brewed in the underbelly. The SEC probe widened, tendrils snaking toward our gray funding, those crypto dips now flagged as suspicious patterns. Crow vanished, but his shadow loomed, A whistleblower tip to ProPublica, detailing the motel's sins, pinning the tech's origins on me as rogue architect. Controversy exploded, op-eds decrying body horror in boardrooms, ethicists on CNN foaming about consent in the C-suite. Protests outside HQ. Pickets with signs swap the suits, not souls. My response? A presser in the lobby, flanked by PR sharks, spinning it as speculative fiction from disgruntled exes. Victor, from his cell, laughed in smuggled letters. See? We're twinned. You can't outrun the mirror. The real gut punch came unannounced, a FedEx from upstate, Victor's scrawl on the manifest. Inside, a Neuralink prototype, sleeker than Crow's hack job, with a note. Round 2. I pulled strings, parole hearing next week if you play. Reversal full. Your body pristine, mine the vessel again. But first spring me. Nexus access for the fix.
Parole?
On reckless charges, with Lena's note as Exhibit A. Bullshit. But the device hummed in my palm, promising erasure. The bleed gone, his ice thawed forever in a Riker's bunk. Controversial calculus. Free the monster who'd birth my rise, or doom us both to hybrid hell. Sophia caught wind, confronting me in the exec lounge, Skyline a glittering accomplice. Don't do it, Mija. He's poison. Look what he did to you to her. Her Lena, the specter. But Sophia didn't know the half. In Victor's resurfaced memories, leaked via the hum, I'd glimpsed the truth's reversal. The OD?
Staged.
Lena hadn't snapped. Victor had dosed her drink at a consolation dinner, silencing her before she could leak the books to the Times. My cover-up? Unwitting accessory. His emails doctored post facto to frame me deeper. The betrayal boomeranged, not just used, but complicit in murder. Rage reignited, a phoenix in my veins. No deal. Instead, I weaponized the prototype, hacking its firmware with Nexus algos, turning it into a confessor's noose. Shipped it back with a Trojan. Voice-activated upload, primed to extract his full ledger upon activation. Parole hearing dawned gray, me in the gallery, anonymous in a pantsuit and shades, heart a jackhammer. Victor, shackled and sallow, took the stand, spinning redemption yarns to a stone-faced judge. Midway, sweating under fluorescence, he palmed the device, my gift, whispering reversal to trigger it. The courtroom feed glitched, live-streamed to the press pool, as his words poured out, synaptic dump verbatim. Lena. Spiked the gin. Arya covered, loyal fool. Voss's cut 40%, mine the rest. Gasps rippled, bailiffs froze. By recess, cuffs tightened, charges escalated to manslaughter. Twist inverted again. His confession cleared my accessory shadow, but painted me as dupe. Victim, not villain. The judge's gavel fell like absolution, remanded indefinitely. Outside, rain-slicked steps. Reporters swarmed like locusts. Ms. Reyes, your role in Hale's confession device. I paused, mic'd up, channeling the fire pure. Justice Tech, folks. Nexus for the guilty. No more shadows. Headlines crown me. The swap slayer strikes back. Stock surged 20%. Sophia toasted with mezcal that night. You're ice now, but the good kind unbreakable. Yet the UM clung a velvet noose. Victor's final letter arrived weeks later, pre-incarceration. You won, Arya. But the bleed? It's in you forever. Leadership's not material, it's the monster you become. Tragic? Poetic justice? Readers'll debate over diner coffee, but me? I filed it with the Polaroids, fuel for the office hearth. Epilogue's a quiet dawn on my new balcony. Brooklyn views traded for Tribeca lofts. City a chessboard I finally owned. Nexus evolves, ethics locked, exposing frauds from coast to coast. Sophia's my shadow now, loyal without the lies. The hum fades, occasional a reminder. Revenge isn't closure, it's reinvention. In America's tense tango of power and peril, we swap not just skins, but sins. And sometimes, the fit's just right. Dark, debatable, and deliciously ours. But late nights, when the skyline blinks like a conspirator's wink, I wonder if I could swap back, erase the ice. Would I? Or has the fire learned to freeze and thrive?